Well, an interesting thing happened today. Stay tuned. And welcome back to the channel. Yes, I know it's almost immediately following a video that I just released less than 24 hours ago that I'm filming this, but an interesting thing happened today that I like to refer to as falling down the rabbit hole. Let me show you why. Because if you remember from the video previously to this one, which I think I had titled episode 11, I had gotten some preliminary body work done, but had concentrated mainly on getting the body on and things like that, and I said I might come in today and do a little bit of work. And my intention when I came into the shop today was to touch up on some of the areas where the mold seams were, to get those a little bit more flattened out. Well, things kind of got out of hand. Let me show you. I got going and I just couldn't stop myself. The first sand is done. The gel coat top is broken. Of course, I've got a couple of little areas to touch up on, like the door jambs, things like that, which I'll do later, but frankly, my hands are hurting, so I'm going to leave it alone for today. That area there, of course. All the places where you see gloss, I'm going to have to touch up on. But, surprisingly, the body is in much better shape than it looked like it was going to be when I first started this, because it looked pretty rough in certain sections. You know, something straight out of the fiberglass mold always is, with some rough cuts done, but I'm actually pretty pleased with this. I've got to finish that up, but you can see that opening there for the vents on both sides is looking a lot better. This, you can see it, but you cannot feel it. That's the important part. I'm going to have to glaze just a little bit here to flatten that out just a little bit, because it's got a dip in the fiberglass right there. Not a problem. I can do that. Up here, the ridges from this area around the buckets are now gone. The nose seam is completely flattened out. This one right here, I had to take it down a little bit further than I would have liked, but a little bit of filler on top of that will make it look great. All the way down, seams look perfect. They're undetectable from touch. Same story here. I got to let a little bit go right there. This one is great. So what comes next, you might ask? Easy question to answer. What comes next is I've got to order some clean strip. Excuse me, breathing dust all day. Clean strip is simply a solvent that you put on a very, very clean terry cloth, or on what I like to use, microfiber towel, and you wipe down the car with it, getting rid of all the dust. At that point, what I'm going to do is start putting filler in the low spots and in some of the imperfections around the wheel wells. I've got some chips in the fiberglass in the area. That's all finished work. Spread some body filler on that. The Z-Grip from Evercoat is what I usually use. It's almost as good as the Rage from Evercoat, and it's about 30% of the cost. And honestly, working people, you can understand that's an important consideration. So I am going to take that in consideration and use the Z-Coat on it. It takes a little bit more work than the Rage does, but in the end, not a whole lot, and certainly not 70% the work. So that's what I'll do next. I'm going to spread some body filler, let that cure out, sand again. Once I get all of the imperfections to the point where I can tolerate them, in other words, where they're nice and feathered and everything looks good, the first coat of primer goes on. At that point, I start doing the same thing I did on the 32. I'll start looking around for imperfections such as pinholes in the fiberglass and things of that nature. So I will get to work on that, and then we'll block it with 320 and start the process that we're doing on the 32 as well. Overall, I'm very happy with the way the car is turning out so far. It's going to have a nice stance. Of course, it's about 3 inches off the ground because of the dollies I've got to roll it around in my shop. But the body looks a lot better than it did when we mounted it yesterday. And while I am completely exhausted, my arms hurt, I'm tired, the good news is my wife, who is a Class 1A cook, is making a wonderful dinner right now. Her hobby is cooking, my hobby is doing this. So she has her kitchen, I have my shop. Kind of a nice combination. All this talk about food has me hungry. So we'll call an end to it on this one. Check out some more stuff coming up very soon. Remember, I am going to the San Marcos Cobra meet this weekend. I think we leave Thursday. Looking very much forward to it. Going with the gentleman who is here in McKinney with me, and he has a Hurricane Cobra that is just about finished, if it's not finished, and we're going to go have some fun and shoot some video and have a good time. So be sure and stay tuned for that. Till next time.